Welcome to Patchy and Friends.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining. This is the second part of my two-part series on clouds. In this video, I will show you how to paint clouds. In the last video, we learned that clouds are made up of water vapor blown into wisps by wind. I also described how to place clouds into a perspective drawing and how to apply compositional tools to enhance your final piece. In this video, I will show you how to paint clouds on a regular day and how to paint sunset clouds. There are two things that govern the way clouds will look. The first is the position of the sun in relation to the clouds. As we learned in the part 1 video, the cloud shadows will be opposite of the light source. In this case, the sun is the light source. Some clouds are too wispy and transparent to have much of a shadow, and some are dark thunderclouds made up of big water drops that do not bounce much light around. But in general, there will be a dark side and a lighter side to a cloud. The second factor that governs how clouds will look is weather. If it's a hot day and there's a lot of air available to evaporate off the ground, there will be more clouds in the sky. And if the weather is very windy, the clouds will become wispier as the sky fills up with wind-blown, torn patches of clouds. It's always important to start with a sketch, so I have set up two preliminary drawings of the sky and clouds. One will be set in the middle of the day with the sun at the zenith or the top of the sky. This is going to be a slightly windy day and the humidity or moisture in the air will be high. I made notes for myself while drawing so I won't forget what kind of setup it is. I have gathered some references to look at while I paint my sky. I will start by locating the sun. In this case, it will be above the painting, not in it. But I want to make sure I know of its location, so I draw the cloud shadows on the opposite side. The next part is painting the background with a gradient from light blue to dark blue. The sun position determines which side is lighter. The third step is painting the clouds. Make sure that there's a gradient from light to dark on the clouds, and since they're three-dimensional, make sure the shadows have a curve. One tip to make the color gray if you're using acrylic or oil to paint clouds is to use a small mix of complementary colors opposite of each other on the color wheel, like orange and blue, and a lot of white. This creates a much nicer gray tone than the harsh black and white mixture. Since this is a slightly windy day, some of my smaller clouds will be so wispy and thin that they will lack a definite shadow, so I will leave them white. There we go, now we have a midday sky. The second setup I have is for a sunset. There is not much wind, so the clouds are pretty rounded, and only the little clouds have long wisps since they are more susceptible to light breeze. The weather is rather warm, so there's a lot of humidity in the air, which has created these nice big clouds. Just like in the previous drawing, I have first gathered some references of sunset skies and located the sun. In this scenario, the sun is inside the painting. and is peeking over the horizon. The sun is always the lightest thing in the painting because it is essentially the giant light bulb in the sky. There are some ways to amplify or increase how bright the sun looks by using certain color combinations. In this Monet painting, the sun is a bright orange ball that seems to be glowing. Monet achieved this glow by placing two complementary colors, again colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel, next to each other, blue and orange, and making the background color desaturated. So not only did he show color contrast of orange and blue, but he also made the orange pop more by using a very saturated orange on a dim, unsaturated blue background. Next, I will paint a gradient from orange to very dark blue in the sky. Since the sun is so close to the horizon, it is not giving much light to the top of the painting, and the color and light fall-off is very fast. In my painting, I will also have an orange sun, and I will have the clouds be pink and purple with a lighter yellow on the side that faces the sun. Purple and yellow and blue and orange are complementary colors that look good as shadow and light areas respectively on clouds. When coloring my clouds, I need to keep in mind that they're three-dimensional and look like spheres glued together. That means that the shadows need to follow the rounded form and cannot be straight. Shadows need to curve. I also need to blend the light and dark gradually, so I will need to use midtones or colors between light yellow and purple or light orange and blue. When painting the objects on the ground, don't use black. I know that the foreground trees and grass look like a dark silhouette, but it is not as dark as photographs like this one make us believe. The camera is not as sensitive as our eye to the tones between black and white, so it tends to make the dark parts more extreme until they look black. Here are some paintings where the artists show what these black regions actually look like. There are a lot of desaturated dark greens and blues and oranges that look like browns, but there are rarely any true black colors in the foreground. So here we have the final sunset and the final midday painting. I hope you guys found this video informative. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you sign up to Patchy and Friends channel to see more art tutorials. As always, Patchy says bye!